Welcome to our podcast where we tell stories that'll keep you up at night. And in the morning, have you asking, you up at night. And in the morning, have you asking,
What's sleep?
I'm your co-host, Timothy.
And I'm the other host, Bailey.
And let's talk about some spooky stories.
So it's the second week of October for our episodes, at least. I'm excited. Get some more spooky stories.
We've had, I just love October.
I
Just
love the
because,
spook.
well, one, we're going over a lot of like extra spooky stories.
Oh yeah,
And two,
it's colder.
it's just been a good month.
It's 2020, so nothing's
Well,
good.
yeah,
But you know,
for the podcast, it's been a good month.
it has been. You know,
Which-
we've been getting a lot of support on our Patreon,
Yeah.
which is crazy, and we want to thank you guys for that.
And I'd like to point out that we are actually close to a total of 1,000 listens.
Whoa!
So Spotify recently broke 100 total listeners.
What?
And we have
100 listeners on Spotify?
Yeah.
Guys, that's
And
crazy.
We're almost at 400 total downloads on just about everything. And then YouTube is almost at 500.
Wow.
So a little crazy.
That's amazing.
Just over
awesome.
a month and a half, I think. A month and a half? Something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Don't forget to share with your friends, guys, because that's insane.
Yeah, that's the best way to support us.
100%. We keep going with this. You know, we can get some better mic quality and, you know, put some more merch out there. We're thinking about some other ideas. Yeah. Appreciate all the support, guys. Well, let's just get right into it, because today we're going to be talking about the Bellaire House.
The Bellaire.
Have you heard about the Bellaire House?
That's Will Smith's house, ain't it?
Nope.
Oh.
So this is actually a haunted house in
You know what I want to watch?
What?
I don't know why that just reminded me of this. Monster House. That
Monster
old
House.
animated movie that was
Yeah.
like super underrated.
I've seen it before. Yeah, they did what, the 3D capture, whatever they call it, motion capture, 3D capture.
I have no idea.
I
All I
think
know
it's
is that
motion
it was
capture.
a bomb movie. I
Yeah.
love that movie.
It was pretty good. It was there was like awkward moments, obviously, with the like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's about like little
Yeah.
10-year-old kids. It's gonna have its moments, but
Yeah, that was an old house, an old movie.
it's an old movie. But like, I just felt like it got swept under the rug, and it's super
It's okay.
underappreciated. I liked it.
I'm of the opinion it's okay. Well, Bellaire House. A man named Jacob Hetherington lived in Bellaire, Ohio, and he made a life with his family by way of owning every coal mine in the Ohio Valley.
He just must be loaded.
Well, he and his family lived in England. They're from England.
Oh, okay.
And they made their way to America for, I guess, the coal boom, you know, and he just purchased a bunch of coal mines. And
must be nice.
yeah, I know, right?
Jeez.
He actually worked with his employees, so he didn't just have employees and like was the boss of them. You know, he like would be in the coal mines.
Oh,
you know,
gotta love those kinds of bosses.
Yeah, I love those kinds of bosses who like
who aren't afraid to do things.
to do the job that they're overseeing. But yeah, he was a very hard worker, and he was always hard at work in the mines. And as with most coal mines, there are accidents. You know, unfortunately, there were many explosions actually in these mines. You know, throughout the different one. Yeah, many different explosions, because there's always accidents.
How many is many?
I mean, there's two that we're gonna talk about at least.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just things happen, pressure builds up. You know, sparks. It's coal.
Yeah, makes sense. But, like, it's such a dangerous job.
It is. Yeah, definitely underpaid for what they do, but many people are underpaid for what they do. So doctors, you know.
I mean, it is what it is.
Everybody's underpaid. So these explosions did obviously lead to loss of quite a bit of life.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I'm sure.
A lot of men were killed by way of being trapped, or by the explosion, you know, or just kind of suffocated under the cave-in. Yeah. So very, very, very sad. Very sad ways to die. You know, traumatic ways to die.
Was that around the time when they had like the little canary thing?
Canary.
Yeah, like they would actually like had like a cage with them that had like a canary bird into it. So
Or
whenever they were
what?
like going down inside the mine, the canary would like react to like gas like in the cave, so they would know if there's like a gas around that
Oh, I
really
didn't know
should have light
that.
it. It was something like that, which yeah, it helps save them, but it kind of like kills the bird a little bit.
Like,
Just die.
we developed technology eventually.
Yeah,
It was paving the way for technology.
yeah.
If
I
they
mean,
didn't
it's a
name
good
their
idea,
company
but
Canary, whatever company makes
whatever company.
makes the testers for gas or whatever for coal mines, they
Mm.
missed an opportunity.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a great idea.
Right. So Jacob built a mansion on top of one of his mines, and right
That
behind the
seems like a
mansion.
good idea.
So I think he called it a mansion, but it's like a 3-story, just like a big house.
But like,
It's
why would
not.
you build it on top of one of your mines?
I don't know.
I guess
I
because you
guess
already
he
own the land.
figured it was safe. Yeah, I mean there was mines all over the place, so
I guess. Okay.
I'm sure he could have found a different place to put it, but whatever. So behind the house was actually a Native American burial cave.
Oh God,
Uh,
those are always like haunting zones.
well, yeah, I mean if you mess with them, but it's like this is a cave that Native Americans would peaceably lay their like leaders to rest. So this was like a notable cave for them to bury like their shaman or their chieftains, healers, and witch doctors would be laid to rest here.
Okay.
And unfortunately, and this is actually going back to when Native Americans did live there, in 1754, the French and Indian War was making its way through Bellaire.
Mm.
And it left behind a trail of death and destruction for the Native Americans.
Oh yeah,
So,
we all know how that
unfortunately,
ended up.
yeah. So unfortunately, there's a lot of blood spilt through Bel Air and especially around the mines. In 1893, another series of explosions caused the death of 42 men in the coal mines.
Jeez.
Another tragedy around the home happened in 1940, so like 50 years later, where there was another explosion that trapped 180 men and killed at least 50.
Wow.
So
So
they were able to make it out. A good portion of them made it out, but 50 men were still trapped underneath, and it took days for them just to get to their bodies. So
jeez,
that's how intense these explosions would be.
that's gnarly.
It's pretty rough. Some speculate that the spirits from the coal mining accidents underneath the house give cause to some of the activity. Jacob died in 1904, and the house was left to his granddaughter Lyde. In 1947, Lyde had a heart attack and died in the living room of the home. Her brother,
Wow.
yeah,
Just
there's so much death around this house.
yeah.
Her brother Edwin contacted mediums in order to talk to his sister because he was like super distraught. They were like
Oh,
super close, so he tried to contact as many mediums as he could, and they actually held seances in the same room that she died, in the living room. So,
paranormal activity right there.
right.
I
Well,
tell you.
there was actually a lot of people say that in doing so, in holding these seances, they were actually opening portals,
Mm,
allowing things to come through into the home. A lot of people also believe that there are ley lines that are underneath the home, which are like channels for spiritual
yeah,
activity,
like
energy, and
supernatural energy.
right, like supernatural energy. And they say that it contributes to a constant flow of paranormal energy for spirits in the home.
Boy.
So again, the living room is the location of many seances that were performed. Edwin died in 1962, after which the home was taken over by the remaining family members. The home was sold to many different families after this, just by the remaining family members. They just decided, we'll sell the home.
Is the
It's
coal mine still active today or no?
I don't I don't believe it is. Like I don't think it's in, because it's like a residential area now, so I don't
Okay.
think it's in use anymore.
Okay, makes
And there's a
sense.
lot of like superstition in the town around the
Oh, I'm
house, so they're
sure.
like, just stop touching anything
Like
around this
just
house.
do not go anywhere near this
Right,
house.
basically. So again, the home was sold to many different families by the original family. And each of these families that did buy the home only lived in it for a short time. After a few families had cycled through the home, it became vacant and abandoned for like a couple of years.
Okay.
So they did leave it alone.
Only for a couple years though, right?
Right. Well, during that time, neighbors actually claimed to see activity in the home, and they reported people moving throughout the house and like
Oh no.
peeking through the
Well,
windows,
it
which
could
is
it could be
like,
like, like teenagers
I
going in there being
mean,
like, "Let's go to this haunted house," right?
sure,
I
or
mean,
ghosts.
I mean, you did that.
Yeah, I went to an abandoned asylum and almost got arrested. It's fun though. I didn't see anything.
Lame.
Yeah, we were there for like maybe 5 minutes before the cops rolled up, and I was
Man,
like, "All right,
we need to do the jail.
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying. That would be
It'd
amazingly
be
fun.
terrifying. If we get enough support for it, we'll do it. I'm telling you, like
We should bring a Ouija board in there. No? Okay. I just
1,000
got the look.
Patreons, 1,000 Patreons, and
Nah,
I will do a
come
Ouija board
on.
in the jail.
Oh boy.
No,
Come on. Not gonna be that
it will be.
bad.
It's not gonna be that bad because I'm not doing it.
Wow.
In 2005, a woman named Kristen Lee moved into the home with her family after their luck seemed to turn around. Her previous home had been destroyed in a flash flood, and I think this actually happened twice to her. Her and her family, two of their homes were destroyed in flash floods. So when they came upon the Bellaire House, they actually were able to buy it for only $46,000, which for a house is insane.
Yeah. Understandable.
Soon after moving in, the family would start hearing voices, they heard footsteps, things would begin to disappear, which is actually a really common thing for a lot of people who are dealing with like a ghost is like stuff will just disappear and until the moment you like critically need it, like your keys will just disappear and then you'll turn around and they'll be like on your table by your door,
I mean, I do that
just
all the time
disappear.
though.
Sure, but like there's times where it's like I heard a story about one girl who like had this calculator that, just like a TI calculator, which is expensive, but she needed it for like a college class or something, whatever, and she couldn't find it for months. One day she like walked into her office and there it was like sitting on the desk.
Maybe I think someone just borrowed it and then
I mean,
just like
maybe, but I
returned
doubt
it.
it. I think she lived alone.
Well, I don't know.
It was a ghost.
She probably got friends, right?
Yeah, I assume. So one evening, Kristen woke up from her nap, late day nap, to a man standing in the living room staring at
Nope. No
her.
thanks.
Terrified, she watched him walk away slowly and disappear. She claims that she could see right through him and that he had no emotion while staring at her. During the encounter, she also noted that the room was incredibly cold.
All right. So,
Spooks.
the first things first. If I'm ever napping, I don't want to wake up to some random person staring at me
Fair.
and
That's
then
creepy in the
then
first
very
place.
creepily just walk away
Just turn
and
around and
fade
walk
into
away.
nothing. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
I'd be a little freaked out. I would do the blanket thing where it's like I'm under this blanket,
They
nothing can
can't
harm
see
me.
me. I can't see
Exactly,
them.
exactly. I'm safe. I love those memes where it's like when you've got your hand like over the bedside and like a demon grabs it, you hold it, you hold his hand, look over the bed. What are we?
What are we?
Those are the best. She began to blame everything she experienced on exhaustion, as at the time, again, the family had just moved after going through the loss of their previous home. And she claimed that before living in the home, she was actually entirely a skeptic, like just didn't believe in anything.
These
And
are always
she,
good stories.
right, well, she actually backed it up because she's a trained forensic mental health professional. Um,
Okay. Have the
and
credentials.
she's got a master's in psychology. So
Oh,
she's like,
okay.
I just obviously this isn't something I ever believed in. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something that exists until it did,
Until it did.
until it did. But again, because she had the master's in psychology and had her background, she blamed everything on her mental state after everything that happened to them.
Just generally being in like, a poor state of mind.
Right. This was until she decided that was too easy of an explanation for all the strange things happening around the family. Eventually, the encounters became more violent.
Ooh,
Um,
spicy.
right? The first violent encounter she experienced, she describes being alone in the home with her dog Bella. She describes herself in a state of paralysis and a dense. So she was actually like laying in her bedroom, just like on her bed, and she became paralyzed, just like all of a sudden.
It's just your sleep paralysis demon stopping in for some
I don't know if
company.
she was napping. I think she was just laying there. I mean, she could
I mean,
have.
we've had the things where it's like you just blink and then all of a sudden it's like 3 in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
that's fair.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what happened to her, but we've all been there.
So after becoming paralyzed, this is quote, she describes a dense dark mass beginning to float towards her. The mask then lifted Bella and threw her against the wall. The little
Oh,
dog.
okay. Wow.
Before returning and pinning down Kristen, which is
Okay.
terrifying.
Big yikes.
Terrifying. And I'd be pissed that you threw my animal, my
It's like
pet.
that video of the one girl who threw the dog at the guy, videotaping her.
Ugh. Yeah, she was drugged out of her mind.
And then she was like, "Why are you stealing my dog?" And he's like, "This is not your dog
I
no
am
more.
saving this
Like,
dog.
this dog ran to him after you threw him,
Exactly. I
so he
felt
is
so
no longer
bad.
yours."
Poor baby. After the incident, she moved into a small apartment with her family as she believed the house was too dangerous to live in anymore. She then began to rent out the house to just different renters, and the rentals actually never panned out. As soon as they would go into the house or like stay in there for like a night or two, they'd move right back out. And it
That
was
would just be
always,
annoying.
yeah, it was
Nah.
always a description of like fear. Eventually, Kristen actually offered to sell the home to the village for $1 because she's like, I don't want to deal with this house anymore. I can't sell it. I can't rent it. Like, I don't want this house anymore. So she's like, $1, just take this house from me, take the deed, like, just
Score.
take
Let me
it.
get it for $1.
They actually refused to buy the house for $1
What?
simply out of fear of any contact with the home. So I told you there's like a big stigma against this house
I
in the town.
listen. I will buy that house for $1.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I will buy that house for a
I don't think
dollar.
it's still up for sale, but you know.
If it is, I will buy it for $1.
So after the refusal from the town, Kristen actually did the only thing she could think of and turned the house into a paranormal destination.
Ooh,
So
sounds fun.
since the house had been opened up to ghost hunters, there have been a number of incidences at the Bellaire House, and tour guides classified many activities that have gone on in the house as demonic. The most notorious of which being a full-on physical assault.
Ooh,
So there are skulking shadows that get reported, phantom footsteps, disembodied voices, and those are just some of the strange things that visitors experience. But there's also documented footage and stuff of some of this stuff happening. So
nice.
there is a common spirit in the house other than the dark. I think they call it the gray man in the home.
Okay.
But the other spirit in the home was given the name Emily Davis by Kristen. Emily is the spirit of a small girl and makes most of her contacts from the attic. There are
Why is it always the attic?
because it's creepy. Nobody goes up there. So if I would go to the least visited place, honestly, if I was a ghost, like stay away from me. Nobody goes in the attic.
I mean, I
I live
guess.
in the attic
Okay,
now.
okay. Fair enough. Antisocial ghosts.
Right. Same. There are actually two people who are known to have lived in the home or to have been associated with the home by the name of Emily Davis. So it's obviously have passed by now, but so it's feasible to think that there is a little girl ghost that could live there.
You know, like normal ghosts are like, scary. But there's something about like small, like child ghosts
Mhm.
that are just extra scary.
Well, it's believed by a lot of people that demons will disguise themselves as children to gain like trust, you know?
Nope.
Especially with like other children, like a ghost will disguise themselves as a child to get familiar with a kid who will then do whatever, you know, like hang out with the ghost, be like, "This is my buddy, we're going to let him into the house." Like that's how they get in,
No,
you
I'm
know?
good.
It's the trusting aspect.
Never trust children.
Just like the black-eyed children, they could be demons.
They are. Like
Or they could be
100% they
aliens.
are demons.
So one Emily Davis was known to have died by suffocation in the home,
Oh,
and the other Emily Davis was simply just an associate. She was actually a companion to the first owner of the land that before the house or the mines were ever bought. So they
okay.
did trace it
So
back to a couple of Emily's.
interesting how there's two Emily Davises who happen to be in that one
Right,
house.
right.
Maybe
The
they're
one that
connected.
maybe
Just saying.
the one that died by suffocation years later in the home was actually like she was actually a little girl who used to like run around and play in the home.
Okay.
So
So how did she die of suffocation?
I
Like,
don't
did
know.
someone like suffocate her? Did she put a plastic bag over her head, or like?
I genuinely don't know. That's one of the things that was
Hmm.
really hard. Like that, I tried so hard to get any information on any of these ghosts. It kept taking me to Pinterest or Daily Mail, and it would all be like copy paste of the same article, and I was
Yeah.
pissed. It was the worst.
It's real hard trying to find a lot of extra stuff like that
It's
most of the
hard. Like
time.
I like the little details, but it's hard to find them. Half of it's behind a paywall, and
Not trying to do that.
Yeah. The other half is fake. Many people say that the attic is the heaviest room of the home. So, like, obviously, you walk in, you're just like, ugh. You just get that really creepy feeling and feels gross in there, I guess.
I mean, I think it's just dusty. I mean, like, a lot of people don't go up to the attic like you said, so it's like,
That's fair.
of course, it's not gonna get.
Well, I mean, now they do because it's been open to the public.
Well, yeah, but,
You can
just in
actually,
general.
right. However, Emily is not the only soul that is claimed to live in the attic. A boy fell from his death from the attic window while attending the home.
Oh, how do you do
Uh,
that?
Kristen suspects that this is not an accident, however, as she believed the
Oh.
boy was pushed. The boy was actually said to have been born in the home to a servant of Lyde and Edwin, the brother and the
Mm.
sister, and the village speculates that the boy was lured to the attic before falling to his death. Kristen believes that that was the spirit of Emily.
Oh, okay. Emily sounds like a rude
Oh
person.
yeah, there's lots of death, lots of
Yeah,
you
this whole
know
this whole place is just like,
weird
if you go
experiences.
here, you're gonna die. Stay there for an extended period of time.
Very spooky, and you can actually go to I don't know about the restrictions for COVID, but you can actually stay there for the night. I think it's like $70 a person a night. So
We need to like get like a mobile setup going. We just need to go to all of these places and
so
just record an episode in it.
I am 100% down for that. However, you seem to be under the impression I'm gonna be cool with it.
Yes, you have to be. We're doing this.
I don't know. I don't have enough money to travel,
Patreon. I'm
so
just kidding.
so
We can figure it out.
that was the story of the Bellaire home.
Extra spooky. Got it.
Literally all I got from it. I was
Nice.
so mad. I was like, "It's the most haunted place in America."
I feel like they say that for like every major place,
I
though. It's
know.
like the most haunted
There's like
place in America.
20 most haunted places in America.
Like if you literally Google the most haunted place in America, I'm sure you'll get 50 different places to go
Right,
to.
50 pages of places. We're going to do another haunted house because, again, it's really hard to find information on some of these things. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an extra this episode. We're going to be talking about the Woodburn Mansion.
Sounds extra spooky.
So I'm excited for it.
Bel Air sounds, kind of upscale, fancy, but
Right.
Woodburn just makes it seem like, cultist things.
Cultist.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. Makes me think of lumberjacks.
Or that,
Woodburn or,
it's
whatever.
whichever you prefer. Cultist lumberjacks
Cultist lumberjacks. That's a never thought of that
have
combination.
wooden effigies.
Congratulations. You put a new thought in my brain.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
So, Woodburn Mansion is in Dover, Delaware, and it was built in 1790. It remains one of the finest examples of Georgian homes in the entire state. So, I
So it
guess,
must be just a really nice house.
is that like is Georgian an architecture style?
Maybe. I would assume so. It's Delaware, not Georgia.
I have no idea. The seven-bedroom house has been home to many of Delaware's wealthiest citizens, and it was bought by the state of Delaware in 1965.
Okay.
So it was actually bought by the state of Delaware to be the governor's home. So,
Must be nice.
right? The state buys your house, like a nice house. Okay.
Please?
So once it was bought, it was renovated to make it more modern. And one thing that stayed the same was the ghosts never left.
Of course they
The
don't.
ghosts. So here's a picture of the Woodburn house. It's very basic. It's like
It kind of looks like just a basic house.
yeah, it's like a two-story. It looks like there's trees growing on it. That's weird. But it's a two-story house. It's got some columns. It's not very. I mean, it's bigger than any house I'll ever own. But
Like it
this is
looks
in
like the
the
houses you like those little two-story houses like just down the road that they just put up not too long
yeah.
ago. Except it's made out of brick.
Oh, this is made out of brick. That's true. A lot of land around it too.
Yeah.
So the Woodburn Mansion is actually surrounded by large trees, and a lot of people say that the trees give them a sense of dread or fear or sadness.
Kind of like the
Um,
weeping willow trees.
yeah, kinda, but it's more comes from the ghosts of Woodburn Mansion because back in the day, a Southern slave raider died hanging from a tree that still stands there today.
Oh,
So
okay. All right.
yeah. So Dan Cowgill was a man that owned the Woodburn back in the day, and it was a stop that was used for the Underground Railroad.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. One night, there was a group of slave raiders who came to the mansion to, take back
Get their
people.
their people back.
And Mr. Cowgill actually chased them away. So he was successful in saving those people. However, one slave raider who attempted to escape by climbing through a large poplar tree in the front yard. He slipped and got caught into a knot in the tree, and he hung there until he died. So
Yikes.
traumatic.
That just sucks.
It does. I
Ah,
mean, I don't feel any sympathy for him, so
I mean,
whatever.
yeah, but like, dang.
It's said that to this day, you can still hear screams and shackles, and people say that this man is actually reliving his own personal hell for what he did.
Well, don't
So,
be a crappy person. You'll be all right. Looks like a nice house though, judging from these pictures.
yeah, I mean, it looks modern. It doesn't look haunted, honestly. It's very well kept. I mean, it's a governor's house, so
Kind of has to be.
yeah, I guess. So in the 1820s, that was actually just a couple of decades after it was built, the residents and guests started to report hauntings in the home. Dr. M.W. Bates had a preacher come to the house for a night as a guest, and after a night of socializing, the guest retreated to an upstairs bedroom. When he came down in the morning, he passed another guest who was dressed in a colonial garb and was shuffling up the steps. When he approached the breakfast table and suggested they wait for the other guest, the Bates were confused. There were no other guests in the house.
Well, okay. So he's like, oh, this dude's wearing colonial age stuff. Oh well.
Let's invite him to breakfast.
Have a good one.
It's just nice manners. I mean, he's a preacher.
I mean,
He's
yeah,
just a
but
nice
like, you
dude.
mean to tell me that the colonial garb didn't like make you think twice about what you just saw?
Reenactments are popular in the North. I don't know.
I mean, okay, sure.
It could have been anything. So the preacher actually described the man he had encountered, and it was revealed that the man he had passed was Mr. Bates' father, who had been dead for years. Dun
Oh,
dun dun. So a ghost, one of the first ghost sightings.
okay, wow.
So many say that the dining room is a really big hotspot for hauntings. It's a hotspot for a lot of ghost sightings due to the fact that many governor wives who have stayed in the home have heard scampering footsteps in the dining room at all hours of the night. Revolutionary era gentlemen have been seen floating across the room, and the quote unquote wine ghosts seem to imbibe whatever wine is left out. So if you leave your wine out, get ready to lose it. Honestly, same though in my house. Sorry.
If you leave wine out, you better finish it. That's just rude.
I mean, it is rude. It is very rude. I'd
Like,
be angry,
like,
but
come
you
on.
leave your wine out, expect for it to get taken. So most of the ghosts reported at Woodburn do actually seem to be friendly and fun.
Clearly, they like wine.
Right. I mean, they're my kind of ghost. When Governor Charles Terry Jr. was living in the mansion, one ghost in particular was seen helping himself to vintage wines in the dining room. Same. Uh, a previous owner of Woodburn reported that he'd fill his wine decanter every night and find it empty the next morning. How much wine did this man have? Good lord.
All of it, apparently.
He filled a whole wine bottle, essentially, the whole decanter, and it was gone the next day.
Hey man, Ghost got a party too.
These wine drinking apparitions usually appear dressed in Revolutionary era clothes, even in modern day. Occupying the most haunted house in Delaware is hard work, and even ghosts need to wind down sometimes.
Exactly. They just need to, have a good time as well. They're doing their ghost thing all
Their
day.
ghost thing for the rest of eternity,
They need a break.
They need a bit of a wine. So there's actually a young girl that's seen in the garden, and she wears a red checkered gingham dress. I don't know what a gingham dress is.
It's just a style of dress.
Okay.
So it has like the little collar.
Yeah. Adorable.
Yeah, and there's
Uh,
they're checkered and they have like just a plain white collar.
It's said that she loves to splash and play in the pools and the fountains that are outside. And she was actually once seen crashing, quote unquote, the inauguration of Governor Michael Castle in 1985. I wonder if they caught that on camera. Just crashing the party.
How do you crash a party as a ghost?
I don't know. What's up? Got this wine from inside.
You just see
Getting ready to
you
get
just see like a glass of wine just casually
floating around.
just getting
just
sipped.
tilting itself to get sipped. Where
Oh,
does it
man.
go?
Just falls to the ground.
Oh no. They've got more manners than just to drop a glass on the ground. That's dangerous.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they go to drink it, but like the wine just falls to the
Oh.
ground.
So it's reported that guests of the new governor at this inauguration felt something tugging at them throughout the ceremony, after which they saw a young girl floating shyly in a corner of the reception hall. Aw. So, again, as with the Bellaire House, you can still visit the Woodburn Mansion.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're gonna set up in the dining room.
So you have to call to make an appointment between a certain time, blah, blah, blah.
Is there a phone number?
And there is a phone number.
Ooh.
But, just Google the word Woodburn House Mansion.
We're doing it.
And we're not going to.
We're doing it. We're doing the jail. We're going to the Woodburn. We're going to
The
Hill.
Bellaire.
The Bellaire.
And the Hill.
We're doing it all.
Those were the ghosts of the Woodburn Mansion. Just wanted to give you guys just a little bit of extra because it was kind of a short episode this week. I apologize, but we're going to hopefully make up for it with our Halloween episodes.
Just you wait.
And don't forget to send in your listener episodes too because I want to do that. I'm really excited about that.
And where can we send those in at?
whatsleeppodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So
fun stuff.
Make sure you send those in. Entitle them as listener story because it'll make it easier for us to find it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget to share with your friends either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So be sure to follow us on our socials for a little bit of extras, such as pictures and, just some news and things about the podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, all at What Sleep Podcast. And we do have a Twitter. You can find us there at What Sleep Pod because, Twitter has to be difficult with naming things.
Why Twitter? Why?
So it couldn't be the same.
You're breaking my heart.
So definitely be sure to follow us on those to stay up to date. And you can find our podcast just about anywhere you find your podcasts. We're even on Alexa devices.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just interesting.
That's cool.
It's cool. Don't get me wrong.
People have many different ways to listen to us, and we want to be available on them all.
We pretty much are
and
at this
we are.
point.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So be sure to give us a like, follow if you're not.
Share us with your friends.
Be sure to share us with your friends.
Tell us about you.
Don't forget, we do have merch up for sale. You can find that at links on our social medias. It's on an Etsy shop by a good friend of ours. So be sure to check that out. And we do have a Patreon where you can sub to us for $5 a month.
Give us a little bit of support and get some goodies back.
Yeah.
You get 15% off of any merch you purchase in the store over the amount of $50. So buy yourselves a couple t-shirts.
Yeah, exactly. So be sure to do that.
Goodies.
We do plan on eventually expanding the merchandise more than just 2 t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking into doing some hoodies, especially since it's getting to the colder seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. Finally excited for that. Exactly. So keep an eye out for that. And we do hope you enjoy this episode.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye.